in Rapid City for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. If you're thinking of selling your current home, let me put my expertise to work for you. Just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker. List it, sell it, and move on. With me, David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Get ready for an unforgettable night of magic and laughter at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort with David Anthony's Evening of Magic and Hypnosis. Join us April 11th for a high-energy show packed with jaw-dropping illusions and hilarious interactive hypnosis that puts audience volunteers in the spotlight. Doors open at 5:30 with showtime from 6 to 7:30. It's fast-paced fun and full of surprises. You won't want to miss it. Visit CadillacJacksGaming.com to get your tickets today and see how your night plays out.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Sometimes it's just a whoops, sometimes it's a oh no, and sometimes it's an all-out ah! Whatever it is, J&J Truck and Auto Body can take care of it with traditional methods or paintless dent repair because they are a PPG certified and ICAR Gold class shop with ASE certified technicians. Plus, they work with your insurance company, saving you time. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
J&J Truck and Auto Body, 100%.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Seahawks made wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba the highest paid receiver in NFL history. The sides today agreed on a 4-year extension worth $168.6 million. He gets $120 million guaranteed, according to reports. JSN will make $42.15 million per season. The previous highest average annual salary belonged to Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase at $40.25 million. That's at the wide receiver position. Chiefs and tight end Travis Kelce agreed to a new 3-year deal worth more than $54.7 million. Some coaching moves in college basketball. Creighton's Greg McDermott is retiring after 16 seasons. The school's promoting assistant Alan Huss to be their head coach. Cincinnati is hiring Utah State's Jared Calhoun to lead the Bearcats men's basketball program. Randy Bennett is leaving St. Mary's after 25 seasons to be the new head coach at Arizona State. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, here we are back and ready on a big Monday on the Nate Brown Show. Glad you're here. I appreciate you. The Nate Brown Show live on Fox Sports Radio across the state. We call it South Dakota Sports Talk Show, and it is always a great day in South Dakota. Let's get after it tonight. We talking state championships. We got some head coaches joining us live. We're talking March Madness and a lot of good stuff, including a Reaction Monday for you, a full hour, next hour, with our guest host, Rob Kegron. Rob Kegron, a national radio host who's now in South Dakota, and he's on the Nate Brown Show every weekend with a Reaction Monday, and Rob Kegron is in. We'll talk about his bracket. Mine's okay. I am behind in the Brown family bracket bonanza. I picked some upsets that didn't quite work out, but I think I'm going to win the long game here as we get into the Final Four. We get deeper into this. I think I'm going to win the long game. I'm in a little bit of trouble. How's your bracket doing? We'll break it all down tonight. Welcome in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is back. We're on Fox Sports Radio across the state here on KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad to meet some of you guys at the state basketball tournament. Talked to quite a few folks. And a lot of fun. 2 state basketball tournaments in Rapid City. We'll get into that. Hang tight. Let's look at the guest lineup. Gary Sharp's going to join us live from Omaha, college basketball broadcaster, great sports broadcaster from Omaha. Gary Sharp's in tonight. Yes, we got to talk Huskers. Yes, we got to talk Iowa. Can you imagine Huskers Iowa being a thing in the NCAA men's basketball tournament? This is big time. So mark it up, man. Thursday night. Are you ready? I'm ready. So Gary Sharp's coming up. Plus some news out of Creighton there with Greg McDermott, longtime head coach, retiring, announcing his retirement. Gary Sharp's on tap. A lot to talk there. State championships have been won, and we've got two head coaches tonight. Tim Buddenhagen, Huron head boys basketball coach. They shock everybody, and I'm going to tell you, people thought it was Lincoln. I thought it was Lincoln. Lincoln had a tight opening game, pulled away from T late. Had a tight one against Harrisburg, pulled away late. Then they couldn't get on track against Huron. The defense was outstanding. Tim Buddenhagen's the head coach. First Huron State basketball title on the boys' side since 2004. We'll talk to Coach Buddenhagen live from Huron tonight, and then we'll go to Dave Hollenbeck. Dave Hollenbeck has won 5 State A titles now, and he runs it from the start to finish, undefeated with West Central knocking down Sioux Falls Christian. And I tweeted this the other night. If you beat Sioux Falls Christian twice in a season, you are legit. End of story. And I picked West Central to win it last week, and I was a little nervous about my pick, honestly. I watched Sioux Falls Christian, their talent, they're unbelievably talented. But it was West Central just getting after it defensively, holding Sioux Falls Christian to low points, and West Central wins it. They go undefeated for a State A title. Dave Hollenbeck is live tonight. Coming up from West Central. So, packed show. Let's get into it. Reaction Mondays on tap with Rob Kagron. We'll break down a lot of March Madness there. Remember, you can watch this show live on Twitter right now. Join us on Twitter at Nate Brown Show. So watch the stream live. Welcome you in on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate that. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. You find us now at Midwest Sports Plus. We are live on the new high school sports streaming app, Midwest Sports Plus. Bring us up and watch the show live. You want to be on the show tonight? We'll try and do that. 605-720-1067. That is 605-720-1067. 1067 Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch. Locations in Brandon, great location there. Also East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, outstanding. Home of everyone's favorite buffet. Your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. Answer our question of the day coming up on the text line, 605-720-1067. That is the Barron's Wilson text line. One more time, 605-720-1067. Already got a text on the show tonight before we even started. I got a text about my high school predictions. And it wasn't a text saying, hey, you got pretty much everybody right. Come on. I mean, there's a lot of guys around South Dakota, they'll say, I had Freeman number 1. I had this team number 1. I had this team. You got to say it before the tournament starts. You got to lay it out there on the line. So I almost got every championship matchup right. But yes, I did get a text from my friend here. I call you a friend. You're listening to the program. Lister text, Huron in the championship. Guess your prediction was inaccurate. And he did send a smiley face. So I do appreciate that. Yes, I missed that. So let's run through it. My recap. What's my takeaways from the state basketball weekend? I predicted all the advanced teams last week. And I said, Castlewood Freeman, State B title game. I got that right. I got the game wrong. Freeman wins it. I went with Castlewood, thought they would win another state title. I was off there, but I got the matchup right. Give me a little credit. It's not that easy to do. Viborg Hurley, the number 1 seed, they got knocked off. So I went Freeman-Castlewood matchup. I picked Castlewood. Freeman wins it. Congratulations to the Flyers. Okay. State A, the one I got right all the way through. Sioux Falls Christian taking on West Central. I thought that was going to be the case. I went with West Central, and they finished the undefeated season. Class A, ding, 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 I got it. Double A, I missed the matchup. I went Roosevelt-Lincoln, a Metro State title game. Roosevelt got beat. And Huron runs the table, not only getting into the state championship, they run through Sioux Falls Lincoln. It was a buzzsaw. Huron was a buzzsaw. So I got that wrong. Sioux Falls Lincoln, first loss of the year, comes in the state AA championship. So I'll take a little bit of credit. I was off on Huron. I did get 5 out of 6 teams in the state championship games. And I picked one winner right, so kind of a letdown. I picked one winner right. Okay, let me get into a couple of takeaways. So I went and watched the A tournament. I went and watched the AA tournament. Now, do you think I could watch all of the games that I wanted to watch? And I know you don't care about me. I'm talking about you. So if you were in Rapid City this past week, I was talking to some fans. If you were in Rapid City this past weekend, you could not watch all of the stuff that you wanted to watch. I was watching the game with some buddies Saturday night. I was watching the State A title game. I wanted to see West Central, Sioux Falls Christian. I want to see how this would go down. And West Central was kind of ahead there to a late fourth quarter, got up by like 6. Then Sioux Falls Christian made a run. And my buddies went over to the ice arena. They said, well, I want to watch kind of the end of this AA. I wanted to see how Huron and Lincoln is going. And I couldn't believe that you're in that spot if you're just a South Dakota high school basketball fan, that you had to pick and choose. You couldn't watch the end of Sioux Falls Christian and West Central if you wanted to watch Huron and Lincoln. And so I stayed in the Summit Arena. A couple of buddies went over to the ice arena, and it's just a simple fact of, if we do 2 state tournaments in the same facility, and I don't know if that's going to happen again, maybe it will, we have to go with staggered start times. That's just the only way this would benefit the fans the most, because I'm telling you, there was 2 big-time matchups. We're talking state championships in the same facility, and I actually saw a couple of coaches. I saw a couple of Class A coaches leaving the Summit Arena and walking through the hallways to go check out Lincoln and Huron to see how that was doing. Then they had to come back. How's West Central and Sioux Falls Christian doing? So that's all I'm going to say on this. I went into it saying we should have staggered some start times, and all it could have been was a half an hour. You already started the games earlier anyway, so start the AA title game a half an hour later or before. I don't care. I just want to see both games, and I want to see both finishes, and fans were not able to do that. You had to pick and choose. And I think now, if you're saying, well, Sioux Falls Christian fans are going to stay there and watch Christian, and West Central and Lincoln, I get that. People from Huron were not going to walk across the hallway to go watch Christian and West Central. I get it. But I'm talking about basketball fans just from the West River area that wanted to watch great games, as I did with my buddies there. They were just basketball fans. They wanted to see all of the action. You couldn't do that. And I thought that was a miss. So I did think that was a big miss. You couldn't go and watch all of the action you wanted to. So if there is ever an opportunity in Rapid City, or I guess Sioux Falls, but Rapid City has the 2 arenas right next to each other, you do a combined state tournament, AA and A, you've got to stagger the times. That's my only recommendation to the Activities Association and the board, the basketball advisory, whoever it is, the state selection committee, whoever it is. Go staggered start times. Now, I would move the times back again. I already whined about that last week with the girls' state tournament. The games are starting too early. 5 o'clock start time on a Friday night semifinal is too early. I mean, we don't all have to be in bed by 9. I think we're going to be okay. I got home from the state championship game. It was like 8:30. I'm like, okay, I guess, yeah, I guess. But 5 o'clock Friday night, semifinal night, too early. You want the biggest crowds, the most support. People want to get off work and watch some hoops. I think you would add more people if you didn't have a semifinal starting at 5 on a Friday. So that's the last thing on that. Earlier start times, I think we don't have to go there, but I think you could maybe do that on a Saturday night. I saw Jeff from Huron say that, longtime broadcaster. I think he said, well, Saturday night gets late because of all the awards and all that stuff, so maybe you can move up Saturday night. I guess, because then people are off work, and I think you're okay. You don't go late into the night. But that Thursday night early game, or I should say that Thursday early game, it's like 11 o'clock. I mean, it's early. It is early. And then the night session, it's early. 1 hour, I don't think, is that big a deal. Starting a game at 6 would get you a better crowd just from the area, wherever the state tournament's being played. So that's that. And finally, here on the Nate Brown Show tonight, I thought the crowds were solid. People could say, it's nothing like the Bees in Aberdeen. Maybe, but I looked at the crowd in the Summit Arena for the Class A tournament. It was solid. I looked at the AA. It was solid. So there was some good energy. I'd been to some state basketball tournaments that weren't great crowds. This one this past weekend, I'm going to credit pretty darn good. AA had a nice following. Class A had a nice following. There was a lot of energy, a lot of juice. So I'm going to say people are going to whine about, the crowds, or was there a big atmosphere? Was there good stuff in Rapid City? I think the venues were great. The crowds were solid. I think the overall experience was outstanding. So congrats to all the workers, all the effort, all the time that was putting on the state tournaments in Rapid. I think outstanding job. Crowds were solid. So East River folks traveled out. Hope you enjoyed it. 80 degrees on Friday and Saturday. So it was good stuff from a crowd standpoint. Okay. Finally, the big elephant in the room tonight, recapping state basketball. Big elephant in the room on the Nate Brown Show is what? Sioux Falls Christian loses. They have won state titles, yes. They lost to West Central, yet there's always the discussion. There was actually a proposal this year trying to move private metro schools up a class. And then there's a bunch of guys on Twitter that make up accounts, and they say this too. They say, move Sioux Falls Christian up a class. They should move up a class. I'm going to throw out our question of the day, and I know maybe people are, you have to do this. They win in track, and they win in football, and they win in basketball. I'm going to throw this out. My opinion is we have to just deal with what's in front of you. If you're going to have enrollment be the sole factor for all classifications in all sports, that's the end of the story. Everybody can whine and complain. There's no whining, complaining. Everybody always says just get better to West River teams that struggle in football. Hey, I hear that. Just get better. And that's what I hear. So I'm going to tell everybody that's whining about Sioux Falls Christian, just get better. Enrollment is the sole factor. That's it. End of story. You're not going to move up private metro schools up a class. You're not going to do it. That's not going to happen. Nobody was saying this back in the day when Dave Hollenbeck was winning at St. Thomas More. I didn't hear this. So where's this coming from? I mean, it's just kind of, there was actually a proposal. It's not just internet chatter. So I do want to make that clear. It's not just internet chatter. There was a proposal at the basketball meeting. Well, you should look at private metro and, move them up a class. You can't do it. So everybody that wants to move teams up, why don't you say this about peer football? Nobody says it. Nobody says it about peer football. Nobody says it about these other teams that dominate their class. And then we say, well, you just got to, you can't whine. You just got to beat them. That's what West Central did. So West Central did it. By the way, Sioux Falls Christian has won 3 state championships. Did you guys know that? In basketball. So we act like they've won 30. Sioux Falls Christian in basketball has won 3 state championships. Yes, they've been to the state championship game a lot. They've been there a lot. That is a really tough team. I mean, really good players. I think maybe they had the best player I've seen this year in state basketball. I think they had the best one. And it's just one of those things you can't just keep on going to that argument. Oh, it's unfair. You got to move this. You got to move this team. You can't pick and choose who you move up because nobody ever says it about this team in football, but they always want to say it about Sioux Falls Christian in this sport or that sport. It's not working. Enrollment is the factor. You live with it. You stop complaining, and that's the end of the story. Sioux Falls Christian has won. It's not like they've won, 10 in a row. They're not just dominating like this. West Central got it done. So I'm going to ask you, can you say we can just get rid of that discussion now? Can we just get rid of that discussion? Outside of Billy and his friends, can we get rid of that discussion? Sioux Falls Christian, move them up? Because I want to get rid of it. We just kill the narrative here. There was actual proposal to move them up. We can't keep bringing this stuff up. You just play who's in front of you. If you like enrollment to determine football classes and all of that, then that's what it is. If you don't want a success factor in football, there's no success factor in basketball. There's no crying in basketball. You remember that? So 605-720-1067 is our text line for our question of the day. And what is my question of the day? With Sioux Falls Christian losing now in the state championship, should any discussion about moving private metro schools up just go away? I've been trying to say that. And people say, oh, that Sioux Falls Christian's different. No, you can't play it like that. I'm sorry to tell you. You just can't play it like that. So we have the system. That's the system. And Sioux Falls Christian has been really, really good. If they wanted to say, hey, we want to move up to AA, they did that in soccer, right? I saw they did that in soccer. So if they want to do it like O'Gorman's done that. They petitioned up. Well, we'll see where Sioux Falls Christian's at. But they didn't even win the Class A title on Saturday. And everybody's been trying to move them up in proposals. Let's just pump the brakes on that. 605-720-1067. Should any discussion about moving private metro schools up just go away? Yes, just drop it, or no, it's still legitimate to look at. What do you say? Let me know. I want to hear from you tonight as we get going. 605-720-1067. That is the text line for the question of the day. We'll go to Huskers, Iowa, and the Sweet 16 and more. Gary Sharp from Omaha, college basketball broadcaster on the way.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people get into all kinds of vehicles with loans as unique as them. Trucks, cars, SUVs, we finance them all with local service and rates starting as low as 4.99% APR. That's right, 4.99%. Keep your loan local and find the one that fits you at bhfcu.com. Apply today online or text 605-718-1818 to get started. Offer subject to credit approval. BHFCU is member owned and insured by NCUA.
Menards has all the tools and fasteners you need to finish your home improvement project. Whether you need standard nails for general construction or specialty nails for specific applications, you'll find them here. New Fast collated nails are made in the USA with the highest quality steel. Check out our entire selection of New Fast collated nails and view our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
It's game on at the #1 sportsbook in Deadwood. With next-level game packages at the BetMGM Sportsbook, Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort has the perfect spot to watch college basketball this season.
Hit that one from the parking lot!
Cheer on all your favorite teams in a comfortable lounge lined with wall-to-wall television arrays.
And that's it! What a comeback!
Seat packages include free play and dining credit to take your game day to the next level. Get yours today at tinlizzy.com. And don't miss a single moment of the NCAA basketball tournament at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A fire weather watch begins at 11 a.m. Wednesday and continues until 10 p.m. Wednesday night. Lows level off around 37. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, northwesterly winds around 5 miles per hour. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times again. Tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 69. 48 tomorrow night, partly cloudy. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 60 degrees.
No one has more to choose from at competitive prices than your Mr. Liquor stores in Rapid City. Shop an unequaled selection of bourbon, including dozens of Mr. Liquor exclusive barrel picks. And right now, Mr. Liquor has rolled out collector edition bottles of select whiskey and bourbons edged in celebration of America's 250th birthday. And you can find them at both Mr. Liquor stores, off Cantron next to Walmart, or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
The Honda Certified Dream Deal sales event is on at Denny Menno Rushmore Honda. Get financing as low as 0.99% APR on Honda Certified Pre-Owned Civics, CRVs, HRVs, and Passports. Plus, shop a lot full of used imports and domestics. Virtually any make or model. including a great selection of all-wheel drive and 4x4 trucks and SUVs. See us at Danny Meno Rushmore Honda or RushmoreHonda.com. Length of finance contract is limited. With qualified credit, expires 4/30/26.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome in. We are just getting going on a lively Monday. The Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota. KWSN Sioux Falls, glad you're here. Appreciate you. Fox Sports Rapid City. Good to meet some basketball fans over the weekend. I appreciate you guys. From Rapid City to Sioux Falls, that was a great basketball weekend at the Monument in Rapid City. We got a couple of state champion coaches coming up. Huron, Tim Buttenhagen wins a state title. First state title for Huron since 2004. That was big time. Dave Hollenbeck's in. He's won his 5th state championship. And the West Central head coach will be on live tonight. Dave Hollenbeck, win number 555. 555 in 30 years. Dave Hollenbeck, one of the all-time great coaches in South Dakota high school basketball. He's coming up. Gary Sharp is on tonight. Great sports broadcaster, college basketball play-by-play. We got to talk Huskers, Iowa Sweet 16. I mean, this is great. Gary, welcome in. How are you?
Good, Nate. Yeah, I don't think anybody thought those words would come out of your mouth, my mouth, or be written. That Nebraska and Iowa are playing in the Sweet 16. One of them is going to play in the Elite 8 on Saturday in Houston.
That is just wild. I think it's great. I mean, so interesting. And of course, they run into each other. That is something in the bracket. I'm going to start with Nebraska. I didn't have them beating Vanderbilt, and it was really, really close. What did you think is the ceiling for Nebraska, honestly, going in?
Going into the tournament, just because, they were going to make this run and they had the elephant in the room, I thought maybe the round of 32. But the way they played, and granted, they hit a shot late, and then the only time in Oklahoma City, Nate, that the building was quiet for the 2 days that Nebraska played was when the shot by Tanner from midcourt was in the air.
Yeah.
It was just complete silence in the building. But I think they've shown the results of playing in the Big Ten, where it is a grind. It is a physical grind, and you got to hang in there, or against the better teams, you're going to get beat, but not only beat, you're going to get clubbed. And I think Nebraska learned a lesson, and they showed that against Vanderbilt to hang in there, and they showed more of the December-January team that started 20-0. So, right now I've taken the ceiling away because you're playing Iowa for the third time. It's kind of a crapshoot. You're a slight favorite. Then after that, who knows? It's March. Anything can happen. But I think Nebraska, in a way, feels like they should be here because they're a good team. I think for Iowa, beating Florida, even though internally they said we're the tougher team, it's a little bit surreal. But that's why this month and this tournament is one of the greatest things, is that anything can happen, that two fan bases that love Busch Light are going to go to Houston and party.
It's going to be wild. I will say that Thursday night. So what was the atmosphere like? I was seeing, people are saying the Husker fans were off the charts at OKC.
So I tweeted this out yesterday, and living here in Omaha and working the College World Series, we see it every time that LSU comes to Omaha. Their fan base comes in droves. Now, LSU fans still come to Omaha regardless if their team is here or not. Where Nebraska fans, we woke up on Thursday morning, and Nebraska basketball had one of the saddest streaks in college sports. They had never won an NCAA tournament game. They were 0 for 8. They were the last power school not to win a game. And then they wake up Sunday morning, and they're going to the Sweet 16. It was insane. There was so many Nebraska fans. I had people in bars and restaurants, Nate, telling me that there was more attention from the Nebraska fans than there were for even Game 7 of the NBA Finals against the Pacers back in June, that there are places in Oklahoma City that it's going to take them a week to recover in terms of restocking food, restocking beer. It's a beautiful city. It's a short drive from Nebraska, so that helped a little bit, and the tickets were available. But there were people swimming in the canal. I mean, it was happiness. You and I have talked for a long time, and from afar, you follow Nebraska athletics. There's been a lot more sadness than happiness. There was just joy. There was just happiness for 4 days in Oklahoma City.
Can this rank up there with Nebraska football? I mean, the interest for football is off the charts. Is this just a one-off thing, or can Nebraska basketball start becoming a thing?
Well, it's 2 times in the last 3 years they made the NCAA tournament. They are going to, once the season is over, they've already made a financial commitment to Hoiberg's contract. They're going to make a financial commitment to the NIL. So they think this thing is headed in the right direction. I'll give you a funny thing, Nate. So the whole attention around this state, on my podcast, on other places I'm on, we're talking basketball. Nebraska has their spring football game on Saturday, and nobody's talking about it.
Wow.
Nebraska basketball could be playing to go to the Final Four on Saturday, and you might only have 25 to 30,000 people at the Nebraska football spring game. Football is kind of gone by the wayside. It's been a real quiet spring around here. But I do believe as long as Fred is the head coach and he keeps to his principles, which he turned the program around, because remember, he started 24-47. If he keeps those same principles and they add a little bit of financial things to keep Sanford and Frager back from this roster to next year, yes, I think this is sustainable, and I think Nebraska can be in contention to be in the NCAA tournament every year.
Gary Sharp on tonight, college basketball broadcaster. He has a great new podcast. He's on the Nate Brown Show tonight from Omaha. So Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports said it's going to be nuts in Houston. He said, it just goes to show you that a city like Lincoln that has nothing going on, he said, they had nothing going on, they're going to be crazy for this.
Yeah, I mean, the people. Again, it's the state. It's 1.9 million, so it's not a big state. But you grow up being a Nebraska fan. It's been tough to be a Nebraska fan for a while, but it's what people do here. They're loyal, and especially the basketball program, because the loyalty that the Nebraska basketball fan has shown, Nate, you don't see very often, because the return on investment hasn't matched the dedication. But it's always that hope. That hope that you're going to be there the first time they win an NCAA game. The hope that you're going to be there when they win 2, which they've never done before. And I think the loyalty through all the sports in following, and I know he referenced volleyball, which has a massive following, and they're also really good. There's a little bit of front runner in the Nebraska fan, but I also think there's a lot of loyalty and dedication. And there's also been a connection. I don't think I've ever covered a Nebraska athletic team that fits the profile of the state of Nebraska more than this team. Of hardworking, humble, they just go out and they find a way to get the job done.
Give me your read on this game. You said, here it is, third time against Iowa. So I'm watching Iowa. I did not pick them, obviously, to beat Florida. I had Florida in the Final Four. I thought they were that good. I was okay to see Coach Golden get knocked down. So Iowa wins. I know Nebraska fans hated to see that. But what do you think of this matchup? Iowa, Nebraska 3 times now.
Well, there's no secrets. The game over in Iowa City, and remember, they almost killed Fred Hoiberg when they rushed the floor. But Iowa turned that, Nate, into a kind of a football game. They slowed the pace, and they grinded, and they clutched, and they grabbed. And Nebraska likes to run a motion offense where they run a lot of cutters, and they get Sanford, who is the three-point shooter, who, by the way, last year was at Iowa, to get him open. He wasn't able to do that in Iowa City. Then the game in Lincoln, at the end of the year, Nebraska fell apart at the end of the regulation. The game went to overtime, and then Hoiberg and Jacobson made key plays in overtime. I think this game comes down to this. Styles make fights. You've heard that cliche a lot. It is so true. The tempo of this game will be huge. Florida last night, and I think Ben McCollum was a great out-of-the-box hire. You go, Division II, then to Drake? Nah. No, hire the guy that you know is a winner, and Ben McCollum is a winner. What he did against Todd Golden yesterday, he put on a masterclass of in-game coaching, and he's exceptionally good. So Hoiberg also is really good. It's a fantastic matchup to see the two coaches and what they're going to do leading up to it, because there's no secrets, and then what they're going to do in-game. But I think the biggest thing for Nebraska against Iowa is, can they speed them up? Florida was not able to speed up Iowa yesterday. Iowa is 361st in the country in tempo. Florida is in the top 30, and look at Iowa had more possessions than Florida. So Nebraska needs to speed the game up, and then once they get Iowa into the half-court offense, they need to defend, they need to touch guys, they need to make sure they have no free cutting lanes. The key is Sturtz. Sturtz has played a lot of minutes. Looks like he's gotten a little bit tired at the end of the year. He's not scoring in abundance, and Nebraska did a good job on him in Lincoln. He only had 10 field goal attempts, only scored 11 points. I think it's going to be a great game. I think the total is low for a reason. I think the line is low for a reason, and it is going to be haymaker after haymaker. Should be a great one. But styles make fights, and I think Nebraska, to win this game, they got to pick up the tempo, they got to get up and down the floor, and they got to find a way to rebound, and also keep that no-middle defense, which caused Iowa problems in both games. Iowa turned the ball over 20% of the time in Iowa City, 26% of the time in Lincoln. It's going to be a great game. You know, it's probably across the country it doesn't resonate, but I can tell you on either side of the Missouri River, it is enormous, all the talk that's going on today. And this game almost should be like on Black Friday.
I know that. I'm telling you, it's like this region, they're going to be dialed in Thursday night. Gary Sharp is on tonight here on the Nate Brown Show talking Huskers, Iowa. So that's coming up. Big basketball news in Omaha. So I want your take on Greg McDermott, Creighton. He's retiring. I don't think it's a stunner, but big-time coach stepping away. What's Greg McDermott mean for Creighton?
Oh, he's huge. He's and Mac's a good guy, and I've known him for a long time, and he's always been saying, like, you know, even for about 6-7 years, hey, I got 2 more years. They finally had a plan in place with Alan Huss going to replace him. You know, I think Mac would have preferred to go out on a better note than playing in the Crown and not the NCAA tournament, but he is everything. He was here when they made the transition to the Big East. He put Creighton basketball on the map. He continued what Dana Altman did. He's huge for the school. He's huge for the sport. He's huge for the city. And it'll be strange not to see Creighton with Greg McDermott on the sideline. Exceptional X's and O's. Now they turn over to Alan Huss, who was really good at High Point, which is a really good mid-major basketball school. And he's got some big shoes to fill. But it's a big loss for Creighton, but at least they have a plan in place.
I was told that a weeknight game at Creighton, just a regular season game, is a huge event, and it kind of became that.
Yeah, you know what? Creighton's kind of become Omaha's NBA team, Nate. You know, they play in an NBA-style arena. They draw about 17,000 plus a game, and they play in a big boy conference.
Great. Gary Sharp, great stuff tonight. Find him, Gary Sharp's podcast. It's out there. Appreciate you doing this, man. Good to have you. We'll talk again. Huskers, Iowa. We'll see if the Huskers come out of this. I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thanks, Nate.
Appreciate you. Gary Sharp on tonight, college basketball play-by-play man, great sports broadcaster out of Omaha with Husker Reaction, and Greg McDermott also retiring, announcing his retirement from Creighton today. Gary Sharp on tonight here on the Nate Brown Show. So let's go to the text line. Your reaction, listener text, stupid Florida losing killed my bracket. Well, it didn't kill mine, I guess. I had them in the Final Four. Did I have them in? No, okay. I had them in the Final Four, and then I had Duke beating them. I'm just, I'm emotional. I filled it out this year emotionally. I took Duke all the way. Okay, I have Duke, Arizona. Okay, so just to admit to you, I took Duke all the way. And I did take Florida, and then I started looking. It's like, I know Husker fans, you don't want to see Iowa win ever. But come on, who's with me? Iowa beating Florida? Come on, Coach Golden. Coach Golden's turned into kind of, I don't know, thinks he's special. He wins last year, and then he thinks he's really, really special, and Florida's untouchable, and they get bounced by the Hawkeyes. How fun was that? Not quite so special anymore. Florida's out. Iowa and Huskers on Thursday night. Who you got? I don't know. I've just been worried about Nebraska. I've been saying I don't know if I can buy Nebraska. I had them winning their first game. I said 100% guarantee. Remember that? Last week I said 100% guarantee they win their first game. Then I was iffy on them against Vanderbilt. They pull it off. Can they do it against Iowa Thursday night? Let's go high school hoops. We crowned some state champions, and one of the biggest runs was undefeated West Central. They take down Sioux Falls Christian twice this year. Dave Hollenbeck's their head coach. 5 state championships. Coach Hollenbeck live coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Upgrade early and save more with Renewal by Andersen. March into savings when you buy one window or door and get the second 40% off. With no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months, you can upgrade your home to energy-efficient acclaim replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. And the best part is you pay nothing until 2027. Your first spring upgrade starts here, so don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
Sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show. A big Monday tonight. Man, I had a great weekend. You know, the thing is, I go to these basketball games. You got state basketball. I just love every second of that. And you got March Madness going on. And then this Monday, it might be the worst Monday ever in the sports calendar. I don't care about Super Bowl Monday. I'm talking, you watch basketball all weekend long, and then you're like, well, now what do we got to do? Well, I guess we got to talk to some state championship coaches. That's always fun. Tim Buddenhagen's coming up from Huron. Coach Buddenhagen wins the AA state title in Rapid City over Lincoln. That was huge. We'll talk to Coach Buddenhagen on tap. First, let's go Class A. fifth state championship for Dave Hollenbeck in his career. West Central goes undefeated. Boy, they beat Sioux Falls Christian in the regular season. They beat them again for the State A title. Dave Hollenbeck on tonight. Coach, good to get you on. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Nate, for having me on.
Well, I appreciate your time. Congrats to you. I saw you were excited. You were smiling. You were celebrating just what you've been wanting to do, is win a state title. You won 4 of them before. It's been a while. What was the feeling like this time?
Well, obviously it was pretty special, to be able to do it at a different school. First year, I guess the biggest thing was, the community was very hungry for this, very supportive. But, most important is I had a great group of guys. I had wonderful kids to coach this year, and the parents were all supportive. I've always said at the beginning of the year that parents can win state championships, based on what they have their kids doing, and of course supporting the program, supporting the coaches, supporting their kids. And, we just had a perfect setup this year with the kids we had and the parents that were behind us.
I looked at how you played. It's the defense again. You slowed down Sioux Falls Christian big time. They're scoring in the 80s, and then you get a hold of them. They're struggling to get out of the 40s. How'd you slow them down? Some really good players.
Well, I got to give a lot of credit, obviously, to my kids, but I've got a good coaching staff, and they put together a great scout. We wanted to get back, obviously, to take away their transition, but we talked about getting back and building a wall because Brant Wassner's so good with the penetration, and so we had to somehow contain him, keep him in front of us. And as bad as you want to do that, or as good as you think you can do that, it's still really a tough job because of how talented he is and just how talented that whole team is. So that was our plan, was to get back and build that wall and try to keep him out of the paint.
What did you tell the guys, start of the year, Coach, all throughout the year? Because the defensive effort was really, really good, though. It's really, you got to have gritty guys. You got to have hard-working guys. That's what it takes. There's game plans, but how do the guys know how hard a defense they had to play?
Well, it was that first meeting I had with my seniors, and I told them, if we're going to win, we're going to have to do some things a little bit different defensively than what they were used to, and the big thing was we're going to have to get in front of penetration and be able to be tough enough to take a lot of charges, and we did this year. We really we ended up taking almost 30 charges during the regular season, and if you saw on the championship night against Sioux Falls Christian, I think we took 3 or 4, which to me was probably the difference in the game. So you're right. The defensive piece of it was extremely important for us, and you've seen me coach for 100 years. Defense is at the top of our list, and that we feel if we can take care of that can translate into offense.
One more thing I noticed Saturday night was rebounding. I don't know how many Sioux Falls Christian offensive boards they got. I didn't check the stat line, but when I was watching the game, it didn't seem like a bunch. It seemed like a lot of one and done. Seemed like a key.
Yeah, we talked about that, especially on Friday night against Clark. Clark really did a nice job against us the first time on the glass. They beat us pretty bad. In fact, probably should have beat us just because we didn't rebound very well that night. And so we really spent a lot of time talking about rebounding for the state tournament, and it paid off for us because the guys did rebound really well.
Dave Hollenbeck joining us, West Central head boys basketball coach. He's won State A title now 5 times, and his first one with West Central. So I look at it and say, okay, I saw your older son was there watching. I don't know if people realize you got a couple of sons playing Division I basketball. How have you managed all this, Coach? You're coaching. You're passionate. You got a new program. You're trying to follow your sons. What's it been like last couple of years?
Well, it's been kind of it's been difficult, I have to admit. You know, you want to be there to watch your boys play. I've got, as you mentioned, I've got two of them playing, so I didn't get to go to a lot of their games because you know, I've got a job to do with this team, and so I was able to go to a couple of Connor's games out in California when they played San Diego and San Diego State. And then I did get to go to his senior night. I was able to slip away on a Saturday and fly right back on Sunday. And then I got to go out to watch Caleb play Virginia at Virginia. So other than that, I missed them all. Other than, you know, the nice thing today, they're all on ESPN Plus or ESPN2. So I was able to see all their games. You know, you as a dad, you wish you're there in person a lot more, but we did get to see them play, and it was special to have both of them home for this tournament. It's kind of big for them. You know, when Connor was a senior, it was COVID year. We were number one in the state. We had the number one seed, and obviously didn't get to play the tournament. So, you know, it was kind of special for him, obviously, to see us win it, because I think we would have won it in 2019. We had beaten all the teams in the field that year, or at least the top ones. And we had a first-round seed that we felt could win, because normally we have really tough first-rounders. So, but no, it was special to have him there and all my boys there.
I have learned now Dave Hollenbeck has the ESPN Plus subscription. He's got that working, so that's good to know. West Central head boys basketball coach on tonight. Undefeated season. A couple of your players I want to ask you about. Mevius, the point guard. Yeah, he's 5'10". I guess he just looks like, well, he kind of looks like a nice player, I guess. I think he feels like a game. I mean, he's the general. It's so tough to guard. Great decision maker. What do you think of the junior guard?
He's a special player. He's a gamer. He's one of those guys that prepares different than everybody else. You know, I've been watching him, especially, you know, in the last, month or so, and I see how he prepares before games versus everybody else. He's just different. But he's a really special player. He's hard to guard. You know, he's got a lot in his arsenal. So you take one thing away, he's got something else for you. He's just a fantastic kid. I can't say enough good about the kid. I mean, he's special, and you know, I get another year with him next year. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's big time to have him back. He's been a great player. I thought Heyer hit some huge shots, absolutely big when it was getting tight. Then you got a couple of big guys though. Will Cool Sr., you got another big senior. These are a couple of big guys that I think you relied on a lot that are going to be gone. How much of a factor is that going to be?
Well, they're really good. You know, it's going to be tough to replace them, but I would like to take a second and go back to the kid you mentioned, Hayden Heyer. He's kind of the unsung hero. He was so big for us all year defensively and shooting nearly 50% from the three-point line. You know, he's a tough kid, and then you mentioned that my big guys, Will Cool, Colt Gary. They were outstanding all year. They're just solid. Showed up every day. The great seniors, great leaders, and I had two seniors come off the bench that I think probably won the game for us in that state championship, and with Bubba Kono and Carter Gross. Those two kids were really fantastic in the championship and all year. I mean, they played a special role for this team, and they had to do that for us to be as successful as we were.
West Central with an unbelievable run, undefeated season. Dave Hollenbeck on tonight. So I said win number 555. That's what's in the record books. That wins your fifth state championship. Was it any different winning this one than the four at St. Thomas More? Are they all different?
They're all different, to be honest with you. And Nate, we can talk about these 5 championships, but man, I've had some really good teams that didn't win a title, but they were really good in their own right. To win a championship, you not only have to be good, but you have to have a little luck. And there was some times we didn't have the luck. But I had really good teams, and they're all special. They're all special in the end.
Dave Holland back on tonight. Great run and an undefeated run through Sioux Falls Christian, one of the top teams. A lot of people were wondering if they were going to get them back, and they didn't. West Central comes out all the way clean. Dave, good to have you, man. Congrats. Thanks a lot.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Nate.
Great job by Dave Hollenbeck again. It was defense. It was toughness. It was team basketball. Gritty. I mean, it was just big time. They were up most of the time, and then it got tight, 2 points late, and then West Central with some huge shots, some huge plays. Sioux Falls Christian scoring in the 80s, barely got out of the 40s, and West Central runs the table. That was my pick last week. I said, I don't know, it's going to be tight, but they got it done. West Central, State A champions, a really, really good team. We'll see where this goes next year. Moebius is back. Some guys that will be stepping in there. Should be interesting to watch. Coach Dave Holland back on tonight. We'll go to Tim Buttenhagen next. He wins with Huron. First title since 2004. He's coming up.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people, from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Upgrade early and save more with Renewal by Andersen. March into savings when you buy 1 window or door and get the second 40% off. With no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months, you can upgrade your home to energy-efficient Acclaim replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. And the best part is you pay nothing until 2027. Your first spring upgrade starts here, so don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
To box out the competition, the Box Out Basketball Tournament's taking over the Box Elder Event Center May 29th through 31st. The tournament's open to 5th through 10th grade boys and girls with limited team spots available. Friday and Saturday feature pool play, leading to Sunday's bracket play for the win. Fast-paced games, big plays, unforgettable moments at the best facility. Register now at thebox.live.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
All right, welcome back in. Great stuff tonight, talking hoops across the board on South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on KWSN Sioux Falls and Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're here. The Nate Brown Show on X, streaming live right now at Nate Brown Show. Watch us live on X. You can also pick us up on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. Just talked to Dave Hollenbeck on West Central's run, the State A Championship in Rapid City. They go undefeated, beat Sioux Falls Christian Saturday night. Well, how about Huron basketball? I don't think a lot of people picked Huron. They thought, well, maybe. They've got some great players. They got a great coach. Maybe they have the talent. People have been telling me this. And Huron gets through Sioux Falls Lincoln. Gives them their first loss of the year. AA state champs. Huron basketball first state title since 2004. Tim Buddenhagen's the head coach. And he's back on the Nate Brown Show. Coach, good to get you on. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And I appreciate you having me on. I'm a big fan of your show.
Hey, I appreciate that. Let me ask you, I just talked to Dave Hollenbeck. We talked through his game, and they had a great State A title, and he really wins with defense. And you got to score it. You got to do all that with some talented players, but I think that's how you guys won it. You really slowed Sioux Falls Lincoln down. What's your take on it, Coach? How did you get this done?
Well, I thought we had the length. Beginning of the year, when we played them the first time, we didn't switch any screens. We were up in the passing lanes, which created huge penetration gaps. We tried to guard DeGroot one-on-one. And again, when you're out in the passing lane trying to deny passes, it leaves the whole middle of the lane open. And he was able to work his way in the middle of the lane, get some easy shots. Schaefer was able to penetrate, kick. They just lit it up from the outside. So we decided to put Blake on, Schaefer, and then we decided to high gap, which means get a body in front of the ball handler early, make them see that there are guys in front of the hoop, and maybe that would deter them from penetrating. And we figured that we needed to keep him out of the middle lane.
Okay, did you think this team was special? Every coach knows, I've got some guys, you said, I've got some length, I've got some players. Did you think this team was special going in?
Not going in, because we had too many question marks. We started them at the beginning of the year. We had to start a freshman because Anderson Porsche had a knee injury for football, so we knew it'd take him a month to get back. So we started a freshman and a sophomore. So, and then Ty Kleinsasser, who we thought would be our point guard, had a horrific ankle injury, and really just never really got healthy enough for us to get in the lineup. So now, we're down two starters that we thought that really would play. So we had a lot of growing pains. We have 5 freshmen on the team that helped us out in practice. So we had a long way to go. I didn't know right away if we were that team. T had us down 20-some, and we came back luckily and won by 1. Lost to Sioux Falls Christian. Harrisburg had to hit 10 threes to beat us, and then we went to Lincoln and got blown out by 25, and all of a sudden we fell out of top 5, and then we had to go to work.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. People sent me messages about, Huron wins this thing. They had some really good players, some length. They had a good team. People knew you were good, but I felt like you got tested throughout the year. What do you think that did for you? The AA schedule, the testing. You said we had to go to work. What do you mean?
Well, we had to change some things. We had to change the way that we play. The style that we played, we kind of had a motion offense where everybody had equal opportunity with the ball. We never had anybody really go to the rim, post up. We didn't really take advantage of our mismatches. I mean, we would talk about it in practice, but as a coaching staff, we really never made it happen. And then defensively, we had to change our whole philosophy. Instead of getting out in the passing lanes and really stretching the floor and making them go chase the ball, making passes difficult, we held back, toed the line at the free throw or at the 3-point line, and then tried to high gap and then get back to shooters. Try to make sure that the ball never got inside the paint, make the next pass, and we were there with a hand up. So we had a whole system to change within probably about a month, and we're able to do it. My assistants, Dawson Schmidt, Jay Elwine, Spencer Staley, Trey Henderson, took over the offense. We went to a basic set play just about every time down the floor. So if you saw us in the state tournament, we had 2 sets of cards up. One was a play, one was not. So when you see the guys turn around, look at the play, and then we instantaneously run a play, try to get a mismatch.
Yeah, very interesting scenarios. Huron wins the AA title. They take down Lincoln. Everybody was thinking Sioux Falls Lincoln's untouchable. How big was that win for you? Because how good was Sioux Falls Lincoln this year?
They were lights out. I mean, going in, all of a sudden they laid the first 5 points on us. We're like, oh no, here we go again. But our kids dug in and got some stops, and we chipped our way back in. But Lincoln's really good. They got 3 really good players. If you take a look at their semifinal game, Schaefer, Erickson, DeGroot, they shot 43 of the 50-some shots they shot. So we knew we needed to go get on those guys, make the role players hit shots. And at that time, if those guys are getting 2 or 3 shots, I don't know if they're going to hit a big shot during the game. So that was our game plan going in. Our bench played lights out. I think we outscored them 15 to 2 or 3 from the bench. So it was a huge win for our program and really for the city of Huron. I mean, I think they shut the lights off on Saturday night in Huron because most of them were out in Rapid City.
I believe that. I thought the atmosphere was good. Some people talk about, I don't know if fans go to the AA tournament. I thought it was really good. Huron had an unbelievable fan base. I thought other schools did too. Huron's the AA boys champion. Tim Budenhagen's the head boys basketball coach. First title for Huron since 2004. So you have Blake Elwine. This kid's a player. This is going to be a South Dakota State guy. What type of player are they getting?
Well, he's versatile. Everybody takes a look at the size, 6'10". Everybody takes a look at the length, his athleticism, but no one takes a look at the skill and what he has done to be that skilled a player. A lot of times when people are out doing things, he's in the gym, he's working out, and he's just a super person. He'll do anything for you. But what separates him, I think, from other players is the amount of time that he is willing to spend. Everybody's capable, but what are you willing to do? And he was willing to spend that time to be the player that he is. We relied on him to bring up the ball. We relied on him to post up. He's got the tweener jump shot, which most people, throw out the window right now because now it's either a 3 or a layup.
Yeah.
But he's perfected that little tweener layup. He goes down to the post. He'll Barkley you, which means he's got one shoulder middle of the lane where he can see where the double team's coming. If double team comes, he can pass out. He has a good, I like to call the Keem Olajuwon shimmy. He'll shimmy you, and then he'll fade away on it. And who's going to touch the 6'10" fade away? So he's got a lot of array of moves, uses them all, but because he's been in the gym working on them.
I look forward to watching him at the next level. He brings Huron a state championship, and Tim Budenhagen, another state title for you. You've done it on both sides now. I look at it. Is it Tim Budenhagen Day in Huron today? Is that City Hall? Is that what's going on?
I'm just a small part of this thing. Like I said, I got some great assistants, and I got really skilled players and guys that are willing to spend the time to make us better. So I'm just a small part of this thing.
Is it special in a community like Huron when Sioux Falls Metro, people talk about it, the Metro, it's so tough to compete against. So when Huron wins the state title, what's that the community feel like?
Well, I think it goes both ways. We support the community. Community really supports us. and they give us a lot of things. I mean, when fundraising, they're willing to donate money, but to whom much is given, much is expected. So when we went into this state tournament, that very first game, we played really tight the first half, because when we looked up in the stands and half of one side's Huron people, community members that spent their hard-earned money to get there and to support us, we felt the pressure of Huron on us. And once we won that first one and got to semifinal night and won the semifinal, our fans would not go home. The Monument was trying to kick them out, but they would not go home because they wanted to celebrate with us. So it's a community thing.
That was quite something, and I know a lot of the state was saying, "Man, look at Huron. They knocked off Sioux Falls Lincoln. Great season for Lincoln." But it was Huron's state AA tournament head coach, Tim Budenhagen. He's been a champion. Coach, good to talk to you. Congrats on another title. I appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate you, and keep up the great work of covering South Dakota sports, because you do a fantastic job.
Well, I appreciate that. Congrats to him. Tim Budenhagen's the Huron head boys basketball coach. I remember covered him his first run as the boys coach way back in the day. Had some good teams, had some nice teams back in the day, and Huron gets in it. AA state tournament, we knew they would get in it. Could they get by O'Gorman? Could they get by some of these teams? They do. And then Sioux Falls Lincoln Saturday night. Huron AA state champs. First time since 2004. Head coach Tim Budenhagen on tonight. We'll talk March Madness coming up. We got to go with a Reaction Monday. Rob Kagron is back and ready next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Mom, can we please go to Watiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Watiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Watiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WatikiWaterPark.com.
Stock up and save on the toughest filters in the business during Wix Filter Sale Days. This month at your local Auto Value. Score some of the season's best deals on top-performing Wix filters. Plus enjoy savings on oil, fluids, grease, batteries, tools, and more. It's the perfect time to upgrade, service vehicles, and get ready for the road ahead. See store for official sale dates. Auto Value. We've got the parts. We've got the smarts.
Everybody knows to have success on the court, your team needs the right strategy. And it's no different with life insurance. Your team at home is counting on you to have a strategy when things get tough. Lee Cruz, agent with New York Life Insurance Company, is ready to help you make sure the most important people in your life are protected. Get a no-obligation, free quote fast. Just Google Lee Cruz New York Life. Don't risk it. Make the right play. Give your family financial comfort with life insurance. Get your coverage options with Lee Cruz New York Life, 605-360-8804. Google Lee Cruz New York Life.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
Who is it?
You're Prince Charming.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I've been calling to you, Rapunzel. Rapunzel, let down your golden hair for days.
I didn't hear you. The witch got the tower new replacement windows from Renewal by Andersen.
Didn't you wonder where I was?
Not really. My new windows are very energy efficient, keeping my tower very comfortable, and they have greatly reduced the noise levels.
What noise? You live in a forest.
Well, a certain needy prince is constantly yelling my name.
Do you not love me anymore?
Oh, quit being so dramatic.
Dramatic? Moi?
Yes, and Renewal by Andersen exclusively offers gorgeous ensemble security doors, safe and durable.
Do they?
You should get them for the castle along with new Acclaim replacement windows.
If I do, will you marry me?
Let's not rush it. And Prince Charming, get the windows for you, not me.
Oh, wait. Windows. For me?
Does your castle need new windows? Discover Acclaim windows and ensemble entry doors, custom fit and exclusive to Renewal by Andersen. Free consultations. Visit RBARapidCity.com.
One more time. This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. Second hour, ready to go on a Monday. It's a big basketball Monday. You should know that. The Nate Brown Show is back with Rob Kegron in studio. It's a reaction Monday on Fox Sports Radio. Our affiliates are Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome in. Also, Sioux Falls, KWSN. The Nate Brown Show powered by Black Hills Federal Credit Union. I want you to know being a member at BHFCU has been the right choice for me and my family. It's my banking partner. Get a bank that works better for you. When it comes to rates, they're excellent. You're looking at used vehicles, whatever you may be looking at, personal, business loans, go to bhfcu.com. Just take a look and get started. Become a member. From personal to business banking, become a member and experience the benefits at Black Hills Federal Credit Union. 18 locations from the Black Hills to Sioux Falls. Start at bhfcu.com. Make the switch. It's worth it. We've got a lot to cover here tonight. High school hoops in the books. We talked to 2 state championship head coaches, Dave Hollenbeck, West Central head boys basketball coach. That's 5 state titles for him. 4 at St. Thomas More, 1 at West Central. Had him on tonight. Tim Budenhagen moments ago, Huron head boys basketball coach, their first state title since 2004. They had big front line, man. 6'10", 6'8", 6'6", 6'5". Look out. Where do they get those guys? East River, man. You guys got some length. Tim Budenhagen on in the first hour. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. If you missed those interviews, we'll have them. The Nate Brown Show podcast coming up after tonight's show on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Rob Kegron is in. So I'm just going to start with, how's your bracket? You know, you're betting, you're looking, you're doing this. I do a Brown family bracket bonanza. My oldest daughter is in the lead. She's talking a big game. I think I might win the long game, so I'm telling her, be careful. But I didn't have Florida getting knocked out. I had them to go to the Final Four, so that hurts. I missed a couple of the upsets. A couple of these experts like Jay Billis, they think they know everything, and they're clueless. They didn't pick some of these upsets, and I missed them. So my bracket's not great. How about you?
Well, I'll say this. I have missed on a number of picks, although I did really well in the first round. I kind of knocked the first round out of the park.
You did.
I did not knock the second round out of the park, but what I have going for me is all 4 of my Final Four teams are still alive and kicking. And to me, with brackets, and you and I have done this probably since we were kids, I remember like literally writing them on a piece of paper when I was growing up and handing them to someone, and they were kind of collating them all and making sure that it was working correctly. The key to getting through the first weekend of the tournament is keep all of your Final Four teams alive, because if you do that, even if you didn't do great in 1 or 2 of the first rounds, you have a chance to still win, because it's so weighted towards the end of the tournament of how many points you get.
That's how it should be. Now,
is yours not like that?
Well, no, we do it that way. I see some people do goofy stuff.
Oh, gosh.
We write ours out. Yep. We still write ours out, and I calculated because they were all excited. I got the first round this, the first round that. I said, that's 1 point.
Yeah.
I said, you got to get into the Final Four, the championship. I lost Florida. So who do you got? Houston coming out of there?
No. I have Iowa State. No, sorry. Florida is in the same as Illinois, right?
Oh, that's right.
So I have Illinois coming out of there.
Okay, so you got Illinois.
Yep.
They're still alive. So some people have Houston. I'm looking to this saying, I missed Kansas St. John's, and this is a perfect opening for Rob Kegron. He acts like he's a St. John's fanboy. And you must be.
Act like I graduated from the institution in 2002. That's how old I am, folks.
Were they good back then? This is their first advance to the Sweet 16 since '99.
And I was a student in 1999 at St. John's University, and actually we went to the Elite Eight that year. Lost to Ohio State. Following year we were good again. We were a 2 seed out west. Lost to Gonzaga. I think we've talked about this in the past. Mike Jarvis, I don't know if you remember that name, but he coached George Washington for a while.
Okay.
Then he went to St. John's, had some success for a number of years, and then he also had some problems there, was doing some shady things going on. So he got to a point where he didn't last very long. But essentially, after I graduated, they were terrible, and they've been terrible.
Yeah.
Other than a year or two where they were okay and maybe made the tournament, they have been truly irrelevant in college basketball until the last 3 years.
So I'm going to say your passion is genuine. You're a St. John's alum. Your passion's genuine. And you guys were Brick City yesterday. I mean, Brick City. And somehow, some way, got up by 14, 16, and then almost blew it. And you actually should have blew it, but you got an easy one. Bill self-destructs, and it's a beauty. You drive to the lane, you score. I was lucky because Kansas isn't very good. That was my mistake.
Okay, well, first of all, what I'd say is, yes, we did not shoot the ball particularly well, but we played very good defense against that team. Let's be fair. I mean, defensively, we held them in check.
You're solid there.
Right?
Patino's defense is solid.
And Patino found a way to get... And he really... Here's what we did well. He had the guys take big shots and make threes when it counted the most. Did they miss a ton? Yeah. But the shot that we made right at the end of the game, that three, that's what kind of gave us just a little bit of cushion. And I don't want to necessarily break down all the X's and O's of this game, even though I watched every second. But I think most people at this point saw the end of this game, right?
Yes,
even if you didn't watch the whole game.
I watched the game.
You've certainly seen the highlight of the end of this game of Dylan Darling getting the ball at midcourt and driving right down the lane and putting the ball up on kind of like this offhanded layup as time was expiring.
That was wild.
But where I think we did really well is where Self did very poorly, I would say, Bill Self. He only had 2 fouls, when we got the ball back with 18 seconds.
Something like that, yep.
And he used 4 of them for us to slow down getting up to the midcourt. Now, I'm not saying that that's not a decent strategy, right? You want to burn some of that clock. There's no doubt about it.
Save one, right? That you can give.
Because if you save one, if the guy is getting where you think he might get a look, you can foul him.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then you have a little opportunity there. The fact that he used them all, and then essentially now you handcuff your defense, because if you foul, you're giving the guy a free throw to win the game.
Now, I will say this. I think if people followed this last 18 seconds, hopefully you did. So they needed to advance the ball up the court, and it was tied, and Kansas just was fouling. I looked at Bill Self on the first couple of fouls, and he looked like, well, you didn't have to do it then.
Yep.
I mean, he kind of looked over like, what are you doing? We did it right away. You didn't have to do it within a second, and they did. I think he said, we want to foul him. But let's wait for 3. Okay, let's wait some time. I don't think he wanted to burn them all up, is my guess.
Yeah, and you're probably right on that. And certainly, the only goal there is to not let them get past half court, right? As long as you keep them on the other side and you foul them and burn, like you said, 2, 3, 4 seconds, you've done your job correctly there, because they're still going to have to inbound and go the length of the court. I really was befuddled. I'm like, why are they giving them this opportunity? Because now the guy's definitely going to the hoop, right? He only has so much time. He wants to go to the hoop.
4 seconds, though. It's plenty of time.
2 things happen. He either makes the shot or he draws a foul, right?
Yeah.
Because he's going to go up to and he ended up making the shot. So I thought they made a huge mistake there. I get your point. St. John's wasn't perfect in that game by any means, but they have played these kind of games a lot. They're a little bit sloppy. They play a slower pace. They're not looking to run the ball up and down the court. They want to get the ball into their big men. I am impressed with what I've seen.
Is that right? What was your reaction? What was the Rob Kagron reaction on the buzzer beater drive to the lay-in? What was the reaction?
I'm crazy. I was jumping up and down like a lunatic. I mean, I haven't seen them be this good since I went to school there. And last year they were good, right? They had a big seed. They lost they were upset by Arkansas and John Calipari. I felt like we had arrived last year. Certainly we hadn't by not getting past the first weekend. We have arrived. The Johnnies have returned to the Sweet 16. This is a big deal, Nate.
I hate to break it to everybody that's listening to the Nate Brown Show. Rob Kagron's a St. John's alum. He says, we have arrived, and you've arrived in the Sweet 16 against the Duke Blue Devils. And you think Kansas was tough. You got another thing coming. This is going to be tough stuff.
And I'm sure we'll get into this more later in the week, but let's be fair. Your team had the scare of a lifetime.
Yeah, but then they woke up. So it's
okay,
but they woke up. That's fine.
But what happens when you get a scare of a lifetime is it exposes weaknesses. And if you don't think the great Rick Pitino has not figured out what some of those weaknesses are and isn't going to exploit them, you're going to have a tough. You're going to have a tough time on your hands on Friday night.
Hey, Rick, I saw the weaknesses. We thought we were going to walk through it, and Cam Boozer was asleep. He didn't even wake up till the second half of the second game. They're going to be ready for St. John's. And by the way, Ejiofor, your guy, right?
Yeah.
Great player.
Yep.
He's got a guy, Cam Boozer, on the other side. Pretty good.
Yeah.
So this Ejiofor, Big East Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. I hope he has fun this week.
At the very least, you'd have to admit that your path to the Final Four in the East region is the most difficult of all of the teams that are remaining.
I guess. I'm not too scared of St. John's.
Who are you scared of?
We'll see UConn, Michigan State. I'm not too scared of it.
Are you scared of anyone? Are you just fearless?
I feel good about Duke making the run. I'm a homer. I'm emotional. I put them in the championship, and I put Duke winning. I didn't feel great after Siena. I was saying some things in the office watching that one because I thought I was going to get Matt Kearney said, let's turn on the game. And the Matt Kearney watch, he sometimes tells me to do stuff and then my teams lose. It's kind of a weird thing.
You're giving Matt Kearney that much power, huh?
Sometimes, but we pulled it out and now we're on track. By the way, we're taking a timeout. We do have a stat. This was the most watched first round to the NCAA tournament since all games started airing. So they put all the games on True TV, TBS, all that. They've done that since 2011. Highest rating since all games have been on. Why do you think that is? Our question of the day. We'll debate next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Turn your tack.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Upgrade early and save more with Renewal by Andersen. March into savings when you buy one window or door and get the second 40% off. With no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months, you can upgrade your home to energy-efficient acclaim replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. And the best part is you pay nothing until 2027. Your first spring upgrade starts here, so don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
Joe. Hey, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. Hope you're having a great Monday. I know this Monday is tough. Rob Kagron is in studio. It's a Reaction Monday on the Nate Brown Show across South Dakota on Fox Sports Radio. Is this Monday tough? I think it's tough for me. I kind of get depressed. I know people say, well, after the football season, after the Super Bowl, that Monday is depressing. This might be number one for me. State basketball, I love watching live games. March Madness, you just wake up, you go throughout your day, you watch games all day, and then all of a sudden Monday, it's like the real world hits. It's like, wait, what do you mean there's no big-time games on? This Monday's, I don't love this Monday.
Yeah, you're right, because last week you had, you have Selection Sunday, which is such a big Sunday afternoon. First of all, and that led by the conference tournament, so you have all this basketball for a week and a half, and then Sunday night comes, you have all this excitement for the tournament. Monday, you're kind of just engulfed in it, breaking down the brackets, looking at the matchups. And then Tuesday, you already have games, right?
Yes,
Tuesday, you have games. Wednesday, and you have 6 days straight of basketball. And then you're right. There's a big letdown on the Monday because I remember someone telling me this, and I was young when I heard it, and I didn't really recognize what they were trying to explain to me. But you realize that once you get to Sunday, you're like 3/4 of the way through the NCAA tournament.
Yes.
Right? Like they played 48 games in 4 days. And there are like 15 games left, right? We finished 75% of the tournament. Now, you only got to get to Thursday, but you're right. On Monday, after watching all that basketball for all those days, and now Thursday seems like an eternity away.
It is. And the other thing is, I kind of get, I'm watching all these games, and then my wife lets me she's like, well, he's watching games. Like it's almost like it's my kitchen pass.
Yeah.
I got the kitchen. And now I'm back to real world, so I'll step up, okay? Let me ask you about this. I got a listener text coming in. What are some of your favorite stories of the weekend? Mine was Santa Clara, Kentucky, and how that ended. That's a listener text on the text line, 605-720-1067. So if you saw that, I didn't see that live, but I pulled it up on my phone. I'm like, wait, what happened here? I had Santa Clara. They had it. And then basically a half quarter from Oway in Kentucky, and then Kentucky ends up winning it. It's like, that was a big one. Now, I'm just going to say, I don't know specific ones, but if you go through the games, Rob, and we're going to talk about the ratings here now, I feel like I was just watching yesterday. It's like almost every game outside of the nightcap, the Alabama thing last night, every game yesterday, some of the games Saturday, they were down to the wire. They've been really, really good, not just 6-point games. We're talking 2-3-point games.
Absolutely, Nate. There have been so many great games. I mean, it started right from the beginning on Thursday. That Wisconsin High Point game, back and forth, up and down. Wisconsin's up, High Point's up. Wisconsin has a lead, and High Point comes back, and they win in dramatic fashion at the end. Right out of the gate on Thursday, I was wanted to jump right into the television. It was so exciting with games like that. And you're right, there were plenty. To me, it was Texas, right? Like Texas, who has to go to the play-in game, they win, and then they win. I mean, it is for a team to go play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or were they Wednesday? No, they were Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and all the travel that's involved in it. And they're an 11 seed, and they're going into the Sweet 16. I thought that was a great story.
So all games started airing in the tournament in 2011. We used to just have to get some of the windows and then watch them on CBS, and then you had the score ticker. So all games now started airing in 2011. That seems like just yesterday, but we had the best first round of the NCAA tournament since all games started airing in 2011. And so the argument on that, Rob, is it's because people are betting now across the country, and they're watching all of these games. Is that the correct answer?
That is one of the correct answers. There's no doubt about it, right? If you're interested even casually in sports gambling, is there a sporting event that is more well-tailored to sports gambling than the first 4 days of the NCAA tournament?
It's just nonstop.
I can't think of one, right? And this is both good and bad, right? If you're doing well, there's a game in 20 minutes to keep it going. If you're doing poorly, there's a game in 20 minutes to try to get it back.
Whoops.
So there's no doubt about it. A big part of it is the gambling because people are betting on the games. They're betting on the over-unders. They're betting on in-game stuff. The new phenomenon, and I've gotten into this a little bit, is this first to 15 or first to 10, like what team is going to get to 10 points first or 15 points first. There are a lot of layers of how you can bet these games. So no doubt about it. That's a big part of it. But I also think brackets have become a way bigger part of the ethos. Like when we were growing up, just like we talked about in the last segment, that you had to write the whole bracket out and hand it into someone. Now you're doing it through all of these online services. You're bringing maybe your family, your friends, your company, whatever social club you're a part of. There are a lot of ways to get involved into the bracket. So I think that is a level of it too. But I think even just as big of a part is it is a pure form of basketball. We've talked a lot about NBA, load management stuff. When you watch an NCAA tournament game, you don't got to worry about any of that, right? It is just pure basketball. And even if you don't have a team, sometimes it's hard to root for an NBA team that you don't have an allegiance to. But in the NCAA, you can get we were talking about Duke and Siena, right? You telling me anybody watching that game wasn't, most people, if you're not a Duke fan,
right.
We're behind Siena. Like, wow, this is so great, a 16 seed. And so there are just so many ways to root and get a rooting interest in college basketball that I think all those things combined are big factors.
Let me throw out the question of the day on the Nate Brown Show. Do you think the high ratings this past weekend was strictly because of people now betting on games? That's my question of the day, 605-720-1067. I'd like to hear from you. We'll throw out free buffet to the Pizza Ranch, courtesy of our partners at the Pizza Ranch in Brandon and East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Free buffet, a buffet a day on the Nate Brown Show for a question of the day answer on the text line. Do you believe the high ratings for this past weekend strictly because of people betting on games? Yes, betting is the big jump. No, great games and great interest. You think it's a combo? I tend to think so, too. It's not just because everybody's betting, but would you say filling out a bracket is a form of like, hey, I filled out my bracket so I can be the one lone perfect bracket on the ESPN Challenge, so I'm going to win. It's kind of part of that. You are picking teams, and then just like my daughters, they wouldn't have any interest, really. They picked all the games. They're really interested.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it strict gambling in that sense. It's certainly, if you want to, in its purest form, I guess it is gambling. But to me, it's way more social and a way to connect while watching the tournament and give you a rooting interest, right? Like, I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I don't, and I have some knowledge in this area, I don't think anybody's getting rich off of, even if their bracket is so great, right?
Right.
It's more about bragging rights. It's more about gaining interest in the tournament as it's going on, having something to root for. I would say it's very different than the person who's sitting on their phone and putting bets in during games.
You think the bracket fill-outs is even greater than the sports betting? The bracket fill-outs by the common person out there gets them interested in watching.
Oh, absolutely. I think it brings in a different fan base that's probably never going to sport, not never, but rarely going to sports bet, right? Like, you think about your daughters, right? Like, I don't imagine them sitting on their phone, or you allowing them to sit on their phone and like, hey, Dad, I want to go High Point first to 10 tonight, right? Like, but they get into the bracket part of it, right? And how many other people, I just know this from working in offices and working in corporations and businesses, how many other people who actually have no idea, haven't watched a college basketball game all year, but fill out that bracket, right? Like, even if it's flipping a coin back and forth, it gives it brings community, it brings bonding, it makes a connection between people. I think that has a lot to do with why it has become so popular.
Listener text coming in, the big rise since 2011 viewers is because of sports betting. CBS and Turner should be happy. Their media deal extends till 2032. Let's see. Listener text coming in. yes, your daughters are interested because there's money involved. That's
but,
I mean,
how much money are they really going to win? Isn't it more about beating their dad, who has a radio show about sports on every day?
Yeah, that is. I mean, they're talking smack today,
as they should. If they're beating you, who do this for a living, I mean, I would too.
And there is money involved, but we're not going to go there. They're trying to raise that. They're trying to, after the fact, they're trying to say it actually should be this number.
They're very clever business people.
So I'm not going to do that. By the way, what's the audience say? 60% chiming in. The NCAA ratings being high is because of betting. 40% it's because of great games and more interest. Your more interest part is, I think, legit. More interest is through, hey, I'm filling out brackets.
Yeah.
So you're very interested. By the way, who is the coach right now you would most want in the NCAA tournament? And the reason we ask this, you look at this one region, you got Izzo, you got Hurley, you got Patino. So people say, who would you want left? The coach you want right now. I'm not talking about some guy that won at Kentucky years ago. I want a coach right now. Coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Want to do more of what you love and earn cash back doing it? With a Visa Cashback Credit Card from Black Hills Federal Credit Union, it's possible. Earn 1.5% cash back on everyday purchases like gas and groceries, and use it to fund your shoe obsession, vinyl collection, or airline upgrade. Plus, spend $2,000 in your first 90 days and get a $200 cashback bonus. Learn more at bhfcu.com/cashback. Offer subject to credit approval. Other restrictions apply.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Danny Meno Rapid Chevrolet means service. We service all makes and models, even if you didn't buy it from us. Everything from oil changes to more serious repairs. And we sell tires. We'll beat anyone's price on the same exact tires and free rotations for the life of the tires. And if you find yourself in need of some body work, our body shop is gold certified and we can put any make or model back in shape. See us at Danny Meno Rapid Chevrolet or DannyMenoRapidChevrolet.com.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
And 200, 2 and a quarter, 2 to the bid, 250, want to get 250 here, 75, 275, now 3.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson Auction Company. We can turn your property to cash. We can sell your personal property and your real estate at auction. A family business for 64 years and counting. We've sold several millions of dollars in property over the years. We're happy to consult with you on your auction plans. Let our selling experience work for you. Call McPherson Auction, 605-348-1369. Visit us on our web at McPhersonAuction.com.
Since 1928, Connect Home Center has been proud to serve Rapid City and Spearfish with quality products and customer service that you can trust. In 2000, Connect joined the Mead Lumber family, and now they're taking the next step into their journey. Connect Home Center is becoming Mead Lumber. Same people, same service, just a new name from design to finish. Mead Lumber is here for you, as they've always been. MeadLumber.com.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, South Dakota Sports Talk Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Our official outfitter is a South Dakota family-owned independent retailer. It's Trav's Outfitter. When you're talking work boots, they got an unbelievable selection, but it's really about getting the right boots, the right fit. They have the staff that'll get it done. It's not about a quick sale. So when you're talking work boots, if you're on your feet for a living, you got to make it work. Trav's Outfitter, experts in work, athletic shoes, Western footwear. The selection is unbelievable. Trav's Outfitter, new store, Campbell Street, Rapid City. Check them out online, travsoutfitter.com. Family-owned, independent, staff knows work boots. You don't leave wondering if you made the right choice, wrong choice, and you don't just stare at a wall of shoes. They make it work. Get in there. No pressure, no commission style push there. travsoutfitter.com. Best selection, best service, no BS. Trav's Outfitter, Campbell Street, new store in Rapid City. Rob Kegron's in tonight. It's a Reaction Monday on the Nate Brown Show. And this is interesting. So we know you love St. John's. It's your alma mater. And congrats. They made it to the Sweet 16. This is a perfect scenario. We have Huskers, Iowa. So this region is just juiced for that. That's unbelievable. On this show, we got my Dukies against your St. John's. I mean, this is going to be outstanding this weekend. So I'm looking at the big coaches in that region. And it is true. You got Izzo. You got Hurley. You got Rick Pitino. And then people say, oh, look at John Shire, the young guy, and he's taken Duke all the way, and he's had all this success. So I'm just going to look across the board. Remember, you got Kelvin Sampson still down in Houston, so I'm not talking just that region. Who is the coach right now you would most want in the NCAA tournament? The coach you want. And I wonder if you're going to stay with Rick Pitino. I really do.
How could I not stay with Rick Pitino? I mean, he resurrected a program that was dead as a doornail, brought them back to relevance, has coached very, very well, got them to a Sweet 16 this year, has a pedigree. And you want to say, well, he won in Kentucky. He also won in Louisville, right? He's won everywhere he's ever been. And he's taken, 6 different teams to the NCAA tournament? I'm sorry. I absolutely am a believer in Rick Pitino. Now, that's not to say that there aren't other good options. And if you want me to be, get away from being a homer with St. John's, although I really do believe Pitino's the best coach left, I would say it would be the other Big East coach, and it would be Danny Hurley.
Okay,
right?
That's mine.
Yeah.
That's mine. I'm actually going to be honest saying I think Shire's just a young guy. I mean, he's fine, but he gets all the players to Duke. And I'm not saying Shire's bad. I think he is solid. But if you're talking X's and O's, the guy that's won games with X's and O's, I believe, has been Dan Hurley at UConn.
He's done a remarkable job with UConn. And UConn has, now a long history. It wasn't always the case, but now a long history since the time of Calhoun. I'm thinking about how many times they've won. And Danny Hurley's been every bit as good as Jim Calhoun was, right? I mean, he back-to-back championships. He's relevant every year. And even this year, I would say they were slightly down, even though they're a 2 seed. There were some knocks on them. They looked, and I thought they might be in for a test against UCLA last night.
They were a little bit, but not late.
Not late. He got them playing well at the end of that game, and I really do. I think when you have Danny Hurley, you have a chance to win every single game. Danny Hurley is not going to be the reason your team loses. Maybe you just have an off-night shooting.
Does he overcoach, though? I mean, I'm looking at the guy. I will say that. Him and Mick Cronin yesterday, I mean, you couldn't even play offense. They're looking over there. Do this, do that, do this. It's a little overcoaching sometimes. You never see Shire doing that.
No, and it is a style, and he's been consistent with that style, and he's won with that style. So that's why I won't say that he overcoaches. I think if you go down that, if you haven't had success and you're doing that over and over again, I could see how that would be perceived that way. But his guys respond to it, right? His guys absolutely respond to his particular style of coaching. So I'm not going to say he does overcoach. I think he's a little too over the top at times on the sideline, but I don't think he overcoaches because I think he finds ways to connect with those players and they play hard for him.
Are we forgetting about Kelvin Sampson? Do we lack a respect for Kelvin Sampson? It's not like Houston is Duke. I understand Houston is a basketball place, This is Houston. This isn't Duke. This isn't even UConn. And Sampson has these guys are the real deal.
And he's been very consistent too. And I don't want to knock Sampson, but you know where I go. My themes are consistent on this program. You have to win. And what NCAA championship has Kelvin Sampson ever won? He had a chance last year, a good chance.
Yeah.
Didn't get it done. And that doesn't mean that you're a terrible coach, because he is a great coach. But you're asking who's the best left? In my mind, you cannot say that any coach is the best remaining coach in this tournament if they don't have, at the very least, one championship.
How about Izzo? Why not Izzo?
And I think Izzo's a good one, too, because I think Izzo is another guy extremely consistent with that program. He is, and always gets his teams playing their best when it comes to March. There's no doubt about that. But let's be fair, he also hasn't won in 26 years, right? Like the last time that Michigan State won, I'm almost positive, was the year 2000, right? So I think that there is some level where, and this is a Big Ten problem, where they can never seem to get over the top anymore. I think there are a lot of reasons for that. But I would say he's one step below Pitino and Hurley.
Careful now. Illinois left. Michigan left. Michigan State left. Nebraska left. Iowa left. These are Big Ten teams left here in the Sweet 16. They're making up half the field.
I'm not saying that the Big Ten isn't a great conference, because it certainly is. But when you haven't won a championship out of that conference in 26 years, there's something going on there, right? Like 26 years, there are only so many conferences that win, right? Well, who wins the NCAA tournament? The Big East, the SEC. Has the Big 12 even won one recently? Oh, yeah, Baylor did win. The Big 12, right? Like, who else is... The ACC, obviously. But the Big 10 has not won an NCAA tournament in 26 years since Tom Izzo's Michigan State team won.
They got a lot of teams left. They
are very competitive. Well, go out and win one.
I got Michigan going to the Final Four. A listener text saying, the coach I want right now is Dusty May. He's legit.
He is
Dusty
legit.
May.
I mean, what he did, in Florida, what was the team that he played for? Was it Florida Atlantic?
Yeah.
That he was good. Yeah. He was great there, and he is... Think about Michigan, which was so good when you and I were growing up as kids, and they've had their ups and downs since, but they haven't never been consistent. Dusty May has made them very consistent in the couple years that he's been there. I'm not knocking Dusty May. I think there are a lot of great coaches left, even ones who have not won championships yet. You asked who the best is. The best can't be someone without a championship.
And it's Rick Pitino.
It is.
And John Shire's going to take him down this weekend. By the way, most dangerous underdog team left in the Sweet 16. That's how we'll wrap up the show. Is it St. John's? When I'm talking underdog, you're going to be like 4 seed lower. St. John's, Arkansas, Huskers, most dangerous team in the Sweet 16 that could pull off a upset coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Your sandwich is trying to tell you something. It's saying, I deserve the best bread. Enter Country Hearth Multigrain. Soft slices, classic taste, built for stacking. From grilled cheese greatness to next level lunchbox legends. Country Hearth doesn't steal the spotlight, it makes everything in between shine brighter. Listen to your sandwich. Choose Country Hearth bread.
At Highmark Credit Union, we believe banking should feel personal. That's why when you walk into our lobbies, you'll be greeted by real tellers and friendly staff, ready to help with your questions, big or small. And yes, we've got the latest technology too, for when you want quick and convenient service. The best part? You get to choose. Highmark Credit Union. Personal service backed by modern technology. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A fire weather watch begins at 11 a.m. Wednesday and continues until 10 p.m. Wednesday night. Lows level off around 37. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, northwesterly winds around 5 miles per hour. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times again tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 69. 48 tomorrow night, partly cloudy. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 61.
Everybody knows to have success on the court, your team needs the right strategy. And it's no different with life insurance. Your team at home is counting on you to have a strategy when things get tough. Lee Cruz, agent with New York Life Insurance Company, is ready to help you make sure the most important people in your life are protected. Get a no-obligation, free quote fast. Just Google Lee Cruz New York Life. Don't risk it. Make the right play. Give your family financial comfort with life insurance. Get your coverage options with Lee Cruz New York Life, 605-360-8804. Google Lee Cruz New York Life.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Great news. I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Good stuff tonight. Thanks for being here. The Nate Brown Show is live, Fox Sports Radio, every afternoon drive on KWSN Sioux Falls and Fox Sports Rapid City. Packed tonight. Gary Sharp was at Oklahoma City. He covers college basketball. He's live from Omaha today. Join us on the program talking Huskers, Iowa. How about that matchup? That's great Thursday for this region. That is absolutely outstanding. Iowa, Nebraska in the Sweet 16. It's amazing. Gary Sharp was on tonight. Dave Hollenbeck wins at West Central. He was live tonight. Tim Buddenhagen, the Huron head coach, first title in Huron since 2004. He was on tonight. So great basketball show. Catch the Nate Brown Show podcast coming up as we wrap up here in a couple of minutes. Rob Tegron in studio. Reaction Monday wrapping up with a bet for Rob. It's another bet. Let me get a bet going with Rob. I'll take the Big Ten the rest of the way. He gets the field, and he wants lunch on this. His name's Caddyshack. He wants lunch.
Well, he's not getting lunch. I'll take the bet, but he'll be providing me a lunch. That's for sure. And I will take your lunch, sir. Because if you want to give me the field.
No Big Ten team's going to win it. Michigan, you better be careful. I think I like their road. Maybe Iowa State's tougher later in the Elite Eight, but I like Michigan over there.
The field is Arizona, Arkansas, Houston, Iowa State, UConn, my Johnnies, your Dukies. Come on, I'll take the field.
I tend to think I'm going to agree with Rob. That's rare for me to do, but I'm going to agree with Rob. I'm going to go with him. I don't think the Big Ten's going to win the national championship. I do not believe that. So who is the most dangerous underdog team left? Underdog meaning it's got to be like a 4 seed and lower. So Nebraska, Alabama, Arkansas, look out. St. John's, Iowa. Most dangerous underdog team, really. Give me a dangerous. Mine is Arkansas. Look out. Calipari, Arkansas. They will play Arizona tight. Look out.
I think Arkansas is an excellent pick. I think my Johnnies are an excellent pick. But I'm gonna go even more out of the box. I think sometimes teams just get on a roll at the right time. And that's what I see with Texas when I watch them play.
What?
It kind of reminds me of NC State from a couple of years ago when they were as a 10 or 11 seed all the way to the Final Four. I have a lot of feelings of the same way. And
they're going to beat Purdue? They got Purdue, right?
Yeah, I could see them beating Purdue, that's for sure. The trickier one is if Arizona beats Arkansas. I think it'd be tough for them to beat Arizona. But I think Texas is really alive, as alive at an 11 seed as we've seen. And I do equate it back to the NC State from a couple of years ago.
Arkansas is my pick there. No, I'm not going to go St. John's. They're going to lose this week. And Iowa, Nebraska, somebody's going to get knocked out there. Alabama, I think, played good last night. I don't think they're real. I'm going to go Arkansas. By the way, we forgot about Purdue. That's another lister. He gets Purdue, too.
He gets Purdue, yeah. I'll take my chances with that one, too.
Big Ten, he says, is going to win. I'm going to say Arkansas might knock off Arizona, and then all bets are off. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. Reaction Monday in the books with Rob Kagron. We'll be back on Thursday as the tournament comes back. The Nate Brown Show podcast going up now.
My reason why is community.